back with more of our favorites because I couldn't put them all in one video. It would have been like 5 fucking hours long. So I've tried to break it up, and so we have more categories today of some of my favorite makeup products in different categories from various brands. Oh God, my brows. Okay, so I have a confession. I haven't tried a ton of brow products. The ones that I really love, of course, are the Glossier Boy Brow. But the problem with the Glossier Boy Brow is that it dries out so quick. And it's expensive for something that dries out so quick. I really like the Rare Beauty one. If I don't want any tint, or if I want to put on like a pencil first and then go in with this, it'll hold them down, and I like that. For a pencil, I love the Precisely My Brow Pencil from Benefit. This is not the super thin one. This is like the very thin one, I guess. It's got to the point now where there's 7,000 products, but I have mine in the shade 4.5. But you know what my most used brow product is? And it is drugstore. And it probably doesn't look as good as some of the others, but it's just easy, it's quick, it gives the color, it fills them in, it holds them up a little bit, and it's the Juvia's Place. I love the Juvia's Place. It's my go-to if I don't have time to use a combination of the liquids or the Benefit. I love the Juvia's Place. So that's kind of a favorite for a category that I kind of neglect, and they're so fucking huge on my face, you'd think that I would pay extra special attention to them, but I don't. Now for setting powders, I am afraid to almost say this one because I know it's a hotly contested thing, but of course the Givenchy, the old one before they reformulated it, it's just a beautiful, thin, light powder that works well everywhere. I have found the other one does have a sheen to it that I don't particularly like, so I try not to use this very much because I don't want to run out. Now I did find a pretty good substitution for it, and I actually think you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference between the two, and it's more reasonably priced. It's just always out of stock. That's the Danessa Myricks Evolution Powder. I have mine in the shade pink. It is a near dupe. And not in the sense that Danessa would dupe Givenchy. I don't think that that's it at all. It's just similar properties, and it has a similar finish, and it's a more reasonable price if you can get it. Now, compact powders, as far as like touch-up powders, it's hard to beat Hourglass. This is one, but of course I have so many of their holiday palettes. But what I'm really primarily talking about is that blurring setting powder that they have in each of their palettes. They're really beautiful. This one works really well when you're done putting on all of your products to just kind of blend everything together. And there's at least one of those in every holiday palette as well. And then two that are kind of compact ones that I love. The Gucci Poudre de Beauté, I have my color in Neutral 3, is a very nice powder. It has a nice consistency. And the other one that I really like is the Armani Luminous Silk. Again, that series does not disappoint. The Luminous Silk powder, if it will stay up, little fucker, which is a really beautiful product. And then the one that I have to constantly repurchase. In fact, I think I have 4 in storage, and I have another 4 here. The Pat McGrath Under Eye Setting Powder. I know some people don't like it, and people don't necessarily like the packaging because it easily breaks. I have yet to find anything that dupes this for under the eyes. It's so light. I know some people say it's drying. It is not on me. It's just perfection, and it's one of my most purchased products. I would say it's that. It's the Pat McGrath stick. I end up getting that one quite a bit. the Danessa Myrick Skin Tint, and then there is a contour product that you all probably already know what it is that I repurchased a great amount. Those are probably things that I repurchase the most. So that's a lovely product, and it's a classic. It's been around forever. For contour sticks, or contour products, I've tried quite a few. And I have some that I like a good amount, even from the drugstore. The Nude Sticks one is okay, but it's not a favorite. I kind of have 3 that I really enjoy. The first is so goddamn expensive that I only use it on my nose, but it's a lovely product, and I'll just use it right here and here, and that's it because of its price. But that's the Victoria Beckham Contour Stylus. It is a really great, malleable, lovely contour product. Then there's the newest entry on the pack, which is the Christian Dior Contour. I have mine in a shade slightly darker than I do any of my other contours, because I wanted one that was a little bit darker for the summer. But this is a very nice product. It's very malleable, it moves well. People say that it's a good dupe for another one, and I'm sorry, but there is nothing that beats the Westman Atelier in Biscuit. I'm sure Truffle is lovely too if you're slightly darker. This product I have probably gone through 6 or 8 of, and that's not even including the minis. There's just, the packaging is so satisfying. And it just gives you the best contour that blends out perfect every time, not too much. It's just a beautiful product. I know it's $48, but it's well worth it. It's one of those few things where I'm like, this is one that you cannot dupe. And I know that some of these others have tried, but no one's beating Westman Atelier on that particular product. For bronzers, I have some different categories. First, I have a liquid bronzer, which is a product I don't hear a ton about, but it is a beautiful product if you haven't tried it. Get it during a Nordstrom sale. It is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Liquid Bronzer Drops. These are great. You can add them to a foundation that's a little bit too light. You can just put it on the back of your hand and spread it around. It's a beautiful product. I'm going to try to sample it for you. They're very thin little drops, and they can be added, like I said, to your foundation, but they beautifully kind of spread out and sheer out, and they'll continue to sheer out because a little bit goes a long way, and you're just left with a really beautiful bronzing product in the summer. I think I have the medium shade 100. Yeah, so there's one that's a little bit lighter, which would probably be better for me in the winter, and then that one would be better for me in the summer. It's a little dark right now. Speaking of liquid or cream type bronzers, it's really hard to beat the Chanel Le Beige. Again, the problem with the Chanel products is the smell. It's so freakishly strong, and I've had this one for quite a while. And for Chanel, you get a big amount of product, like a lot of product. What is this? 30 grams of product, which for Chanel is a big deal, but it has that overwhelming scent. But it is a beautiful product, much like the Armani, that smears out and shears out, and you can just see it doesn't stretch quite as much, but that makes sense. This is more of a balm, but it's a beautiful product that I really like. And then powders, there's 3 or 4 that I really love. The RMS one, if you're looking for kind of a glowy bronzer, the RMS, I have mine in the shade Beach Walk Betty. Not the fanciest component, but what does it matter? It's a beautiful product. And if you haven't noticed, RMS is slowly but surely coming into Ulta, which I'm very excited about. It's already been at JCPenney. But it's been, a little more challenging to be able to get it if you don't go in JCPenney or what, you'd have to go on their website. But going into Ulta, that'll be a really cool addition. A staple, it's like a good old-fashioned bronzer that doesn't disappoint, and it's matte. It's the Pat McGrath. I have a couple of different shades. This one's called Bronze Dawn. I also have Nude Honey. It's a very nice bronzer. And if you can get it when they do a sale, or you can get, sometimes at the holidays, they'll do like little sets. It's a beautiful product. Not as fancy as the ones I'm about to show you, but it doesn't matter because it does a beautiful job. If you want a glowy bronzer that's a powder, it's hard to beat the Armani one. And look at how much product you get. It's crazy. This one is 18 grams of product. This is in the shade 100, and it has just the slightest bit of glow to it, but it's not obnoxious. You can barely even see it there. Let me see if I can get a better swatch for you. I swear it has pigment. There we go. There you go. It's a beautiful product. It does have a little bit of shine in it, so it's probably something that you'd want to use in the summer. But if you're looking for something kind of year-round, or you're not a huge fan of shine, then it's really hard to beat the Gucci. It may be the best. It does have the smell that luxury products have. The Armani does not, miraculously. But the Eclat Soleil, I have 1 and 2. I'd like to try 3 one day, but it's just a really beautiful product. It's a neutral color. This is great for winter, this color. This is 1. So it's just kind of a subtle bronze. And I'll actually pull 2 so you can see the difference, because it's actually quite intense. 2 is much deeper. You can see there. And in the winter, if I'm not darker, it can look a little bit too dark. But this is 2. So you can see that's a big jump from 1 to 2. But Gucci, the bronzer, that's probably my favorite bronzer in my collection, is the Gucci one. So blush is crazy. I've got 2 drawers full because it has been out of control. I tend to like powder blushes. I do have some stick products that I do like. I do like the Pat McGrath sticks. I've heard that the House Labs ones are nice, but they're expensive for the amount of product you get. But I tend to like powder, although I do have some here that are not. The first one that I think is really lovely, again, you'll hear me say it over and over and over, and it is the Armani Luminous Silk. It just has a really beautiful kind of watercolor effect. This is in the shade Soft Mauve, but it shears out into just the most beautiful, subtle color, and it really does give that water effect. Some of the colors are not as pigmented as that one, and they can be a little bit difficult to see. So I would just say, you know, try them in the store. None of them are going to be as pigmented as like those little Hourglass death bombs that just look like blood everywhere. But they do have a nice, really nice finish, and they are a beautiful product. I'll say that over and over and over with Armani Beauty. It's one of my favorites. It's not always the most glamorous, but or the new trendy thing, but it's just beautiful and consistent. Other cream type products, the Danessa Myricks, the Flush Bombs, and the low key ones that have a little bit of, or the highlighter ones. They're a beautiful kind of creamed powder product that has that technology in it that a lot of her balms have that kind of dry down very nicely. I would say as far as creams are concerned, another one that I just love, and I have a couple of different colorways from her, but there's one that I think is just heads and tails above the others, and that's the Natasha Denona My Dream Cheek Trio. This is a beautiful product, and this blush is right up my street. That's my color to a T. You'll see that in a second, because I have some others that are very similar. And then a new addition to the list, but a beautiful addition, is the new Chanel cream to powder blushes. I have a couple of colors. This one is Rose Radiant. It just has a really interesting texture. And again, it's that color that I love, which is kind of that dusty mauve. But it just has a beautiful finish. I mean, look at that. And the color payoff. I really like those. And, you know, Chanel blushes for me are kind of hit or miss. Like I've had some that I really, really like, and then I had like the one from this spring that it was the one that was like half coral, half pink. I could not get pigment out of that thing. I take a spoolie and scrape it to get a little bit of pigment. As far as powder blushes are concerned, those are kind of my favorite. The Valentino ones are gorgeous. This is in the Pink is Punk, which I have in a lot of their products. It's their signature color, and they just have a beautiful, soft, silky texture. RMS, if you're looking for something that's kind of a glowy blush, I pulled 2 of them here, and yes, I buy the refills only and put them in these little things from Amazon, and they work well because I can see what's in them. And I have 2 of the cases that come with them that I can use if I travel, but otherwise you can save about $10 and you can actually see what's in them. This is in the color Crystal Slipper, which is again right up my street as far as the colors that I like. That kind of dusty mauve. And then this one is kind of the polar opposite. This is Bohemian Girl. And I just pulled this. You know, every color is going to be different depending on what you want, but it's more about the formulas. And you can see there they have a good amount of shine to them. So if you don't like shine in your blush, then you're not going to like those, but they're beautiful. And it's a subtle shine. Finally, I mean, you'll hear me again say it over and over and over when it comes to powder products. I think the best is the Gucci ones. I know they're expensive, but they're so freakishly cute, and they have beautiful colors. They have 11 now because they added 2 special edition ones. A couple of my favorites are Soft Red, which to me is anything but red. It's kind of a orangey color, but it's beautiful. One of the new ones, which I thought was going to be too light for me, like the Tender Apricot, but I actually love it, is the new Soft Peach. It's a really beautiful color. It's hard to describe, and it doesn't look like anything special in here, but when you swatch it, it just has this really interesting tone to it. So you can barely see it on here, but it's a beautiful color when you build it up. And then my favorite, again, shouldn't surprise, is the Rosy Beige. Mine looks kind of tattered and worn, the poor thing, because I use it so much. But this is my kind of blush, you know, to a T. It's that browny, mauvey beige color. And you'll see it kind of in the middle there. So those are kind of my favorite blushes, and they kind of run the spectrum depending on what kind of blush you like. Oh my god, this is a lot of products. Okay, so highlighters. You know, I find that people either like a very sparkly highlighter for going out, or like New Year's Eve or something, or they like something a little more subtle. I have some that I really like that are kind of a mix. As far as liquid highlighters are concerned, I think the Forever Glow Maximizers from Dior are really beautiful. This one in particular can be used as kind of a blush and highlighter, or I'll get a couple of the colors and stack them, and it just makes a really cool, like, water, you know, sunset kind of effect. As far as other ones that I really enjoy, I like the Balm Essentials from Chanel. They have, as far as the stick highlighters, they probably have the finest consistency and the most malleability compared to some of the others, and I really like them. The only problem is that it's hard to tell the difference in the color sometimes. It just, you know, it depends. I guess if maybe my skin tone was a little different, I could tell the difference a little more. This, I thought, I don't know what it is. I don't know whether to stick it in primer, whether to stick it in foundation, or whether to stick it in highlighter. She puts it all over her damn face, and I've tried that, and that makes me look a little bit like the Tin Man, but not in a bad way per se. And that's the Natasha Denona Hygen highlighter balm thing. I don't know what it's called. Is it a primer? Do you put it under? Do you put it on top? It's one of those, but it has a really beautiful, look how smooth that is, that consistency. it's just really lovely, and it does sheer out. So if you want, I would say that's probably one of the ones that's more of a natural look. And then the other one, of course, is any of the Westman Atelier ones, the cream one, the cream powdery ones. So in this particular case, the Super Lotus, I have the Peau de Pêche, which is beautiful. The one thing that drives me nuts about these is I cannot get them open. Like, it takes some sort of degree to be able to get in here. Once you do, though, it is a beautiful product. I have a couple of the colors. I want to try the new one. I think it's Peau de Peony. This is Peau de Pêche, though, and it looks dark, but once it's sheared out, it's a really lovely product, and it just gives a really natural glow without being too crazy or over the top. As far as another stick or gel kind of product, this is a stick, but it's from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and it's the Highlighting Duo Pencil. One side is matte, one side's highlight. I really like this to go under the brow and to go down the nose. So this is a great product, and not something that it gets, I don't think, a lot of attention for being particularly new or fancy or inventive, but it just works really well. Pat McGrath has some beautiful highlighters. She has beautiful blushes. She has beautiful bronzers. Her highlighters come in a variety of formulas. My favorite formula from her is the baked one, and you can tell when they're this formula because the other ones are flat, and these have more elaborate kind of designs on them. This one is in this shade Nude Opal, and it's a beautiful, smooth shine. Some of the other ones are more powdery. This is baked, and it just, you can see here, it just gives a really nice shine that's not crazy over the top. Now granted, if I had got one that was maybe lighter than me, you know, maybe it would be more, but that one's pretty close to my skin color. Pat McGrath, I hate to say this one because it's sold out, but then every year for like 2 weeks, it will come back in stock for like, and there'll be like 8 of them, and then it'll go away again. And that's the Pat McGrath Divine Rose highlighter. It's also a baked formula, and it just has the most beautiful shift. And she has this a lot in her eyeshadows and in her, I know there's one in the new holiday palette. I think it's the second one on the top, has kind of this shift. She's got a single eyeshadow that's really a potted one that's really similar to this. There's a shade in Mothership 11 and in Mothership 7 that is similar to this, but this is kind of the highlighter lighter version that's not as intense, but it gives that beautiful pink to gold shift. Chanel. Okay, so not all Chanel highlighters are created equal. One that I love that's like beautiful for every day, and I'm sorry because it's apparently incredibly difficult to get, and I did scour the black market for it, but I did get it, so whatever. And it is the Chanel Rêve de Camélia, not the big one. This is the one from, I think, 2022 that came out, and it looks like this. And it just has the most beautiful finish. It's fucking Charlotte Holdcroft that got me into this and put me down a black hole of eBay and Poshmark to find it. But it is a beautiful, natural highlighter that leaves absolutely no cast. Another Chanel one that I really love is Limited Edition. Like I said, all Chanel highlighters are not the same. This one's more glittery. It's more like for going out. And if I really want to amp it up, I'll put the Balm Essential on first and then put this over it, like I did the other day. My best friend and I went to see Chaperon, and I put this on, and it is the Lumière de l'Ocean one. It's the one that goes from white to blue. It's a beautiful highlighter. It's just a really fun finish. I realize that that is not for everybody, but for going out or for a special occasion, it's just a lot of fun. It does have a lot of glitter on it. Then of course there's some a classic, which are any of these Dior quads. They're a really good value at $48. I know they have a couple of different colorways. This is Glam 2, I believe it's called. Yeah, Glitz, sorry. But it's a beautiful highlighter that just, it works, and it's a reasonable price, especially for considering, you know, that it's luxury, and you do get 4 shades with it. A new entry that I really like, and I know that some people say they had issues with getting pigment out of, but are the Gucci. I think they're really beautiful, and I'd like to try number 4. I think it's Nude Opal. The only one I have is this lilac shade. I have found the best way to do this is to either use a stiff brush, because it's kind of got a putty consistency. I don't know if you can see that. Or use your finger, place it, and then brush it out. But that is freakishly stunning. And it is intense. It is not a subtle highlighter by any means. But I do know that if you use a soft brush, it's very difficult to get pigment out of them. I've seen online. Finally, one of my most purchased or repurchased items, you can use on the eyes, you can use it as the highlight, you can use it all over your face for Halloween. It's the Diamond Balm by Fenty. I have this in a couple of pathways or colorways. The only thing I don't like is that okay, I said this, and then this is going to be the first fucking time it opened perfectly well. But the plastic that's on the outside of the metal will disconnect, and then again it opened. Okay, the other day I spent an hour trying to get this thing. This is what happens. And that's very annoying. But now, all of a sudden today, it's decided to work perfectly. A product I repurchase over and over and over because you can use it on your eyes, on your cheeks. I mean, it's just a lot of impact, and you get a good amount of product for $40, I think. Mascara. Okay, so I love Pat McGrath, Dark Star. I like the colored ones, and I like the black one. You know, I know that some people don't like colored ones. I think they're kind of cool if you're going out or for something fun, but the black one is great too. 2 sort of reasonably priced ones that I really like are the Tower 28 and the Queen Musea. These are lovely, sort of more reasonably priced ones. A drugstore colored mascara that I really like is the Maybelline Sky High. It doesn't feel luxurious by any means, but they're lovely products, and they're, you know, under $10. And finally, my favorite, hands down, it's not even close. It's the YSL Lash Clash. It comes in 3 colors, blue, dark brown, and black. And I love all of them. I have replacements for all of them. But it is by far my most used and most impactful mascara. I just really love it. You know, if you curl your eyelashes with like the Rephr curler and then put this on like 2 or 3 coats, it's good, it stays all night, and it just has a ton of impact. I really love that product. Liquid eyeliners. I have some really nice ones. I have Pat McGrath. I have some from Adept Cosmetic that I really like that are multi-chrome. But you know, at the end of the day, the ones that I find that work the best, or at least consistently, are Sephora brand. I think they work really great. And these damn like $5 Little Girl Wet n Wilds. They have so much pigment, and they have the pot with a very small brush, and so they work really well. I'm not a huge liquid eyeliner fan, but when I do wear it, I will put the Pat McGrath, or I'll put some of the others on that are more expensive, and at the end of the day, those Wet n Wild ones are just as good, and they're $4.99, $6.99, something like that. So eyeliners, if you're talking about pencil ones, I tend to use, if I want a basic, like a black, brown, light brown, or navy, the Pat McGrath. I probably have gone through the most black and black coffees of hers because they work really well. Another option, if you're looking for like an eyeliner that can also be used as a lip liner and can be used in different ways around the face, is the Makeup Forever ones. I think they're really beautiful. I really like, if you're looking for a fun one, a multi-chrome, the Danessa Myricks. But my favorites are really two brands. The first are the new YSL. Oh my god, why would I say that? I'm sorry, I haven't tried YSL. I'm sure your products are beautiful, but we're gonna try that again. The Valentino, these are a gorgeous product with so much pigment. Let me see if I can pull one for you. I'm gonna pull the blue here. I think I need to get the purple one. I think I'm still waiting on that one. This one's kind of a metallic, but you can see, and it's so beautiful. And then on the other side, it has a brush, so you can brush it out, which I really love. They've got some fun colors. And then, I mean, I'm not sure there is a better one. An eyeliner slash, you can blend it out to an eyeshadow, but the Victoria Beckham, they are freakishly stunning. They are beautiful. They come in a variety of colors. They come with the sponge tip on the end, so you can smear them out if you want to wear them. I'll just show you a few colors here that I really like. This is Surfside. Look at the pigment. They're so smooth. You think they're not going to set, but they do finally set, and once they do, they don't move, but they are malleable. They're very, very soft. This is Bordeaux, which I need to sharpen, but it's a beautiful color. I know Cinnamon is a big seller for her. Some of her shiny ones like Green Sequin are lovely. This was one she put out earlier this year that I think is really cool. This is Seafoam, giving your Golden Girl fantasy. And then finally, she's got the market on the white with the linen. Her linen one has so much pigment. You can see there. So she's got, I don't know, maybe about 15 to 18 of these, but they are beautiful products. Some other ones I like the Natasha Denona ones pretty well. The only thing I've noticed with the Natasha Denona ones is that the pencil part will come out from the wood. So that's kind of annoying, and this is my favorite one of hers. This was from the Yucca collection, and it's now discontinued. But for whatever reason, the pencil part will come out and separate. But they are a beautiful product nonetheless. Lip liner is another category that I don't put a ton of interest into. I have a few that I really like. Sephora collection is pretty good, and they're reasonably priced. I love the Pat McGrath Nude Venus. I think is a really beautiful one. Same with its lipstick and its gloss. And then the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude I really like. But you know, for lip liners, I'll just get them on Amazon. I have this pack of 50. There's 50 different colors, and I think it was like $19 from a company called Nabby on Amazon. But they have some really nice colors, and they work, and they seem to do pretty well. So it's one of those cases where I don't think that you necessarily have to spend a ton for it, unless you're doing like the I Need a Nude trio or the Pat McGrath Nude Venus trio. Then you probably do want the matching color. But otherwise, I find the Sephora and that Amazon brand to be very nice. Lipsticks. Again, not a huge lipstick wearer, but some of my favorites that I really like. I love these new Pat McGrath crayons. They go on and they stay on. I like some of the Pat McGrath, just the classics like this. And then Natasha has a good formula. Like I said, I really like the My Dream collection. The whole collection, actually. But some of my favorites, I would say, are the Valentino. These are the, what are they called? Rosa Valentino. These are the Satins. I really like them. I like the new, whatever the new YSL ones are called. I still have kind of the classic ones from YSL before they changed the packaging, which I actually like this better. And then the Queen Musea. This is a brand that I wasn't that familiar with, but they do sell it at Nordstrom. They have really nice ones that they were kind enough to send me a few, and I ended up getting another one or two. I really like them and their color selection. And then I would say for a matte or a hyper matte, the best one on the market is the Prada. They are so pigmented. They have a beautiful finish. They have that smell. Unlike the foundation that I don't get the same, the foundation has more of kind of a, I don't know, it's more subtle. These are quite strong, but they are a great finish that's matte and truly matte, and they work really well. Of course, they also have that viral Sabrina Carpenter blue, what's it called, Pink Astral, and it's just a bomb, but it's pH balanced and it's supposed to change colors, you know, based on your pH. I don't see, well, maybe there's a little bit there, but Prada really has the market on some really, really beautiful lipsticks. Now, one thing Prada doesn't have is a lip gloss and a lip liner, and I really think that that would be a smart direction for them to go in, as well as a concealer. As far as lip glosses, I think it's really hard to beat any of the lip glosses from YSL. I mean, their standard lip glosses are really beautiful. They have the best finish. They're in a bullet that can click up, so it's not too bad. RMS has some very nice ones. Natasha and Pat, I think both. These are probably my most used. This is, again, I Need a Nude, and this is Nude Venus. But both of these are lovely. You just see one's a little bit more cool toned. And then I really have found that I like some of the new Fenty ones that have come out. These, what are they called? This one's called Blaze Donut. It's the color though, but you've seen them everywhere, and these are very popular, the sticks. And finally, I really love, again, is this the last time I'm going to say it? Maybe. The Armani Beauty, the new Prisme, the glass ones, they are so beautiful. I have this color, which is, it's a nude, I think. It says number 7, but it's just the most beautiful, glassy, nude lip that you can put down, and I really like it. Like I said, they really kill it on their products. Setting sprays. Okay, like I said, I like to use the D'Alba when I start and when I finish. It gives a nice glossy finish. It seems to lock it in. If you really want locked in, of course you can get the one size on till dawn, but it's going to mattify, and I prefer more of a glossy kind of, you know, finish. But this is great if you're going out and you really want to lock it in. It does feel like you are spraying hairspray directly on your face, and it smells like some sort of chemicals that's going to eat inside you, but it locks that shit down. Two other favorites I like. I was never a huge fan of the Urban Decay All Nighter. There was something about the smell I was not a huge fan of, but I really like their new Watermelon one. The smell is much better. It's a classic for a reason, much like the eyeshadow primer. It locks the makeup in and it holds it. And finally, if you're looking for something that you can use as a setting spray, but also as kind of a sunscreen, especially in the summer, it's hard to beat the Habits. This one is the White Peach and Neroli. They have different scents, but this is a beautiful product, especially in the summer. So yeah, this has been a hella long video, but I just wanted to give you an opportunity to see some of my favorites, some of my best products that I really love in different categories, and I hope you enjoyed watching and you'll watch more. Please like, subscribe, thumbs up, follow me on Instagram, unsolicited_eyevice, and unsolicited eyevice on YouTube.